for Barb today.
Don't
really
we
tell.
all?
Yeah. I want to look like her. I wish this were my special day.
I know.
I wish her all the best. All the best.
Very good.
Oh, turn it off now. This is my friend Louise Saxon. Louise has the classroom next to her, and she's also
I'm not sure that it heard you.
beautiful staff.
I didn't hear you, so it probably didn't hear you. Say that again.
This is Louise Saxton. She has the classroom next to mine, and we've known each other for several years now. And Louise is one of those people who keeps everybody organized and in touch with what's happening, because most of us don't know.
Okay.
Barb looks wonderful.
Yes, she
She's
does.
just beautiful. And
We're a beautiful staff. Thank you, Louise.
And I wish you all the best in your job. And I hope you take it easy and don't go to fly teaching too soon.
No, and I won't until after the New Year anyway.
Very good. Say that again.
I've known Linda occasionally for a few years. I've seen her.
You got her over the golf shop.
Yes.
How come? Caliber my list.
That's my son Tanner.
Oh yeah, honey, I'm just doing your mom's closest friends, and that I should be on here too, but I.
Hey,
Yeah.
let me videotape for a while and then you'll get on.
Yeah,
Okay.
let Tanner videotape and then you can get in the picture.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Tanner. Now, sweetheart, I just want you to know, Dolly, that try to get, like, if you point the camera toward the window, then you don't get a good picture. So you've got to get the daylight behind you somehow.
Okay.
So if you come along this side like that, so you can get these ladies. I should have taken it away, as a matter of fact.
This is my friend Linda. This is my friend Linda.
Yeah?
Yes, best.
No, I wouldn't say best.
That's not for you to say.
Well, I think I know.
She's known me longer than Tanner has.
I have. I've been here like longer.
She helped me decorate in the room when I was expecting.
I made the first set of curtains that you are
Yeah?
Dad.
Yeah? Did you make them?
I helped.
Did you? That's good.
She did. Okay, now take Jenny. This is Jenny Taylor. She always is. Jenny and I were born in the same country. Absolutely, yes. We both came from England. Jenny came a lot later. Yes. And Jenny and I worked together for what, 6 years, 7 years? Were you there right from the beginning? Yes, 7 years. Yes. We've never had a fight. Check that. Which means that we're both remarkable. Yes. We've gotten along very well in all that time. And this is another Linda over here. This is Linda Anderson. And all Lindas that I've ever met are crazy. This is
She called me a wingnut.
Linda is the person that told you because your mother had walked. Just this Linda would have done that.
Not on purpose.
Of course not.
Yeah, and this is Beth Borowski,
Hello.
who has been kind enough to put up with me for how many years? 6 years. I know you weren't there right at the beginning, but you came shortly after. Yeah, yes. Very soon after we started it. Yes, and Beth remembers everything.
Because we know you don't remember anything.
That's true.
Like my birthday.
Son, who is just like me.
Okay, now.
Yes, Tanner?
I'm gonna like take the camera
Okay.
and go around and get like people to say nice things about my mom. Well, it is true that people don't like you. Well, I like you, but like other people don't. So. Okay, just so I know, if I hit this, it'll stop, right? If I hit this.
Why are you pointing that thing at me? Okay, if you want it to stop, you hit that red button right there.
Okay, and if if I wanted to start?
Okay, if you want it, it's recording right now. If you want to stop recording or just pause, push the red button. And then when you want to start, again.
It is now. Now. Say something nice about Mom because she's retiring and she'll be home all the time and it'll really suck. Just kidding.
No,
Say something nice about Moms.
Mom's the coolest. She's the best mom ever.
Say it again into the camera.
Come on right now.
Yeah.
Mom, I said she's the best mom ever.
What about Mrs. Wade?
No, Mom, you're the prettiest. Yes, the prettiest.
No.
Mrs. Wade is cool too.
I'm the prettiest.
No.
Oh, come on. Okay, Carrie.
Come on, Carrie.
Carrie, you're showing us your better side right now. The camera's not going to leave you until you say hi, Mrs. Shy.
Mrs. Shy. Your mom's name is Mrs. Shy.
I know it's not Mrs. Shy.
Hi, I am Mrs. Shy. Say that. Hi, I'm Mrs. Shy.
I really like what you've done with your hair care.
Since they can see the back.
Okay. Let's all say something nice about my mom. Hi, Grandma. Okay.
Hi.
Okay.
Joy Barb. It's great.
Okay, that was awkward.
Barb, congratulations. Enjoy your retirement.
Yeah.
Deserve it.
See, that's all you have to do. Mrs. Wade, my Aunt Joan, they've all got it down.
What about ours? Second?
Yours sucked. Have a nice day.
Same to you, Mr. Cheery.
George, you and Shortstop say something nice for the camera. Say something nice about Mom.
I say something nice about your mother every day. I'm eating blue cheese.
Blue
My favorite.
cheese.
Yeah.
Are you going to speak?
No, you better speak too,
You're
though.
done.
I was going to bring our camera.
Ladies and gentlemen, could I have your attention this way, please?
I see the light flashing.
Oh, what does that mean?
I don't know. The battery. We have to change the battery.
Thank you. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for joining Barb and her family in celebrating this milestone in her career. And to you, Barb, a few words. The Simon family has asked me to read you this letter, which I have tried to practice. It says, "Dear Julie, thanks for including the Simon family in celebrating Barb's retirement celebration. Although I wonder how many new life experiences and adventures anyone can have after living with George as long as she has. Barb, we know you'll be retiring from work and not from life. Please read to her the following ode to Barb. Roses are red, violets are blue. Now you can do what George has to do. Nothing. All our love, respect, and good wishes, your friends from Conestoga, the Simons." When I was first asked to assume the responsibility of organizing your retirement party, my first reaction was, I don't even know her. But as I soon found out during our numerous getting to know you sessions, of which she was very patient, I've come to know a very compassionate and sensitive, artistic and quiet-natured woman who undoubtedly has shared these traits with her many students over the years. What lucky recipients they have been, Barb, to have had their lives so greatly enriched by you. I think it would be correct in saying that we are all very envious of you today. For many here, this milestone will be celebrated a little further down the road. But from all of us, Barb, our very best wishes for your new life that you are about to begin. I would like now to call upon Doug Byers, principal of Ormiston Public School, to say a few words.
Okay.
New friends, and to be with staff in a different setting. This is a little bit like Ormiston staff room, right? Anyway, it's also really nice, Barb, to be here tonight to pay tribute to the most mature person on staff. Before I came to Ormiston, I had heard about Barb Westfall. We have a friend that both of us know. And so I'd heard about Barb and George for a few years prior to coming to Ormiston. And as soon as I was coming, I was talking to Shirley, and Shirley said, "Oh, Barb's going to be on your staff. You'll really like to meet Barb. She's a really party animal." So I thought, okay. I knew that she had a cottage. I knew that she was married to George, but of course everybody knows that. And I knew that she had 2 children, Tanner and Megan. And I heard a little bit about them from Shirley and from Matthew and so on. And I've shared a few of those stories with Barb, and I'll continue to update you as I learn about those things as years go by. I knew that Barb lived in Whitby, and I knew that she had the cottage, and I knew that she liked martinis. I've gotten to know Barb over the past 2 years at school at Ormiston. She's in the associated class, and that's a small class, and it's downstairs by the staff room. And therefore, Barb doesn't interact sometimes as much with the whole staff and the school community as some other staff members do, because she has her little group, and you don't leave that group too long. Even though she has people to help her, you don't leave them too long. And but we see Barb come in and out, and it seems to be getting a little bit later and a little bit earlier out than it used to be. But as she said, what are you going to do about it? But Barb, and as one of your friends just said, "Is this your official last day?" No, it's not. And contrary to popular belief. But I've gotten to know Barb over the last 2 years, and I'm going to use a couple of the same words that Julie used. She's quiet, she's cooperative, she's classy with a sense of style. She's very artistic, she's very knowledgeable, and I'm impressed when I've been at IPRC meetings with her, with the students. She's very knowledgeable about the students and about the disabilities that those students have. She's very caring, and she's very patient. And I know that she's patient at school. I can walk in and be there for a few minutes and walk out and think, I'm glad I'm not there. Thank you, Barb, for being there. She's also patient because she puts up with George. I know that she has a love of the family, and she really, really enjoys her 2 children, and for some strange reason really enjoys George. She's helped out at the art show that we just had, bringing in her artistic nature, and she's helping out with graduation, and those things are done at school in a very quiet manner, and she likes to stay in the background. When I thought about retirement, I have my ideas of what retirement will be one day. Quite a few years from now, Barb, because you know, the age difference is quite good. But I decided today to check with a few of the students. I looked up retirement in the dictionary and got that definition, and then I thought, I wonder what kids think about retirement. So I went through various grade levels to see what they thought. And then they always said, why did you want to know? And I said, well, Mrs. Westfall's retiring. Oh, we wouldn't have said some of those things if we knew it was Mrs. Westfall. So I went in the group to Diane McFeeder's grade 1 class, and I asked some of the kids there. And the first one that they said, you retire when you're too old to work, or you've been there too long. Retirement is when you stop working, and retirement is when you don't want to work anymore. That was grade 1. So I moved on up to grade 2. And they said basically the same thing. The old thing, Barb, kept coming up all the time, when you're too old. And one of the grade 2 students I taught says, well, when you quit what you do now and you become a babysitter. So I don't know if that's your next job or not. Then I moved into grade 3, 4, I'm going up the ladder here, and they said, well, you retire and you go somewhere else. it's you quit to rest. Well, that might be true. As teachers quit, they often do need a rest. And another one said, well, that's when the government pays you. One kid says it's just when you're done. And somebody else said it's when you start another job. So I'm not sure, Barb, what that job might be, but I know she's going to do some supply work, and it's going to be at 2 chosen schools. And Heather is here, and I know that she's going to go to whatever school Heather is at. And she said she'll go back to Ormiston, and that's it. So that's always nice. Yes. Then I moved on to grade 5 into Ann Barris's room. Well, we all know Ann, and her kids are quite verbose, as she is. And quite the jokers. But anyway, they said it was a relaxing time, Barb. It's a time to stay at home. It's a time we can have more sleep. You don't have to get up in the morning. More family time. One kid just said, yelled out, freedom. And I thought, does that go freedom 55? You know that? Time to do what you want to do. And it's a time when it's getting a little more sophisticated as you move up here. It says a choice to stay at home when you want to. So it's a choice thing. And when you reach that certain age, you can make that choice. Now, George, you're going to be sorry to hear this one. They also said, when you retire, you're too old to play. George, I'll let your imagination go there, but forget it, buddy. Then I moved into grade 6-7 class, and the grade 6-7 class said, well, it's a time when you feel that you've done your share. It's a time when you move to Florida, play golf, and just do nothing. It's a time when you buy a condo or a motor home to travel in. So you can see now as moving up, they're getting a little older and they're thinking a little bit differently. Moved into grade 8 in Carol's class. They weren't much different than the grade 1 class. No. But anyway, especially this time of year. But they said, oh, it's a time when you go on a pension plan. It's time to take it easy. It's a time to travel. And another one said, well, it's time when you stop working, you still get paid. So Barb, those are all things that students thought. Whichever one of those you happen to choose, whether it's time to rest, time to travel, time to do what you want to do when you want to do it, or time to play when you want to play, whatever it is, we wish you the best. So on behalf of the school and your friends, all the best in your retirement.
Hey, I'm 18.
Maybe 18, but you're still your mother's baby.
Maybe you should do it.
I heard all these attributes about Barbara, what a conscientious, dedicated person she was, and how she was very good in school, very good in the classroom. She has a lot of experience, and she gets that experience at home. Because at home she has 3 children to look after. Heather, Megan, and George. Now, for the most part, people retire and they say, well, I really don't know what I'm going to do. I know I'm not going to go to work every day, but how am I going to put in my time? Well, with Barbara, she knows all about that. George worked for Hiram Walker for 15 years, and it was like being retired, and she envied him. And the guy that said the note, Simon, he's worse than George. He was a Hiram Walker too. But retirement, you say, well, I'm really just leaving that job and maybe I'm looking for something else to do. Now, Barbara has a lot of options. She's, a very political person. Right? And I understand there are a couple of nominations she's looking at for the Progressive Conservative Party. Barb and I haven't had a real good chat about teachers for a long time. The last time we had a heated discussion, we were sitting in my family room, and I was so loud, she was very quiet. But she was giving it to me pretty good, but she got some help from my neighbor who was a teacher, came running across and almost decked me. Anyway, Barb, I know that you're going to be enjoying retirement. You have a lot to look forward to, as long as you make sure that George goes to work every day and he's not around to bother you. Because he will be, Someone told me today, and I didn't believe it, Barb, that one of the reasons that you were retiring was because of the newfound meaning of Viagra. George is on some other medication, and he can only take it at noon, and I understand it takes a couple of hours, and that's it. George actually went to the doctor, and he said to the doctor, he says, I'm really having some problems here. And he said, I heard about this new drug, Viagra. And the doctor said, well, George, he says, here, take a couple of these. So George takes them, and he says, now, Doc, what am I going to do? He says, well, within an hour, he says, you're going to be really ready to go. And he says, but Barb doesn't get home till 4:30. He says, well, go home anyway. Is there anybody at home? He says, yes, the maid's at home. And he says, well, if, this turtle will waste it, go visit the maid. And George says, I don't need Viagra for the maid. Barbara was actually in class one day, and she was standing there and just had a little accident. She sort of blew a little wind. She turned around quickly, and one of the little boys in the classroom was sort of laughing at her and sort of, tee-hee-heeing. And she turned around and she said, Jimmy, stop that. He says, which way did it go? Anyway, Barb, I know you as a for the last many years, we've shared a lot of happy times together. I still can't believe that you and George and I particularly playing old-timers hockey and going in, checking in hotels and renting cribs. The desk clerks always thought we were crazy. And I don't know whether your children came because of mine or mine came because of yours, but nonetheless, we've enjoyed some very pleasant times over the last few years. I want to wish you very well in your retirement. I hope that you will do all of those things that you are able to do. I hope that you'll get into doing some artwork because you're really talented at it. And I also hope that you will make sure, and without hesitation, that George toes the line. I think you're now in a position to boot him out in the morning and get him at the motor sale, because you could say to him, listen, you have to go now, honey. You can't go to the golf course anymore, which is great for us. But anyway, all the best to you in your retirement, and make sure you don't take any wooden nickels.
Thank you. Barb, if you'd like to come forward, please.
Yeah, I think it's like something.
Yes, you can bring.
I know. I wonder how Grandma thinks.
This is the short call. On behalf of all your friends and colleagues, we would like to present you with some departing gifts which we hope you'll enjoy. And I know your husband would like the mic right now because he has something he'd like to say.
You know that's what I
Get ready.
It's now really paid that time. This is Barbara's time, and I'm very happy and appreciative of her coming out and supporting her retirement. I think it's going to be fun. I'm trying to think about what I'm going to do, but she's been looking forward to this for a long, long time. I supported her naturally, and I think it's time. When I went to the retirement party last night, the Three Musketeers, Douglas, and Barbara and I were there. 269 people retired last night at Sikorsky's Hall. And I don't know whether that last two figures on that number has anything to do with teachers. But Out of them all, Barbara stood 7th from the top. There was only 7 people that had more seniority, 269 people than Barbara did. Felt pretty good being 7th in 269. It was a great party. There was a lot of nice people there that spoke. A lot of people that Barbara hadn't seen in many, many years, and myself as well. I had a fellow come up to me that I'd known in the hockey world years ago, and that was sort of like, guess who I am? And he stumped me because he wasn't in shape anymore. I finally had to say to him, would you tell me who you are? And he told me, and I was quite impressed with his relaxed body. But I want to thank Julie, Pete, Jean, Doug Byers, Barbara. As all the teachers know, we had, I have to say that because I was around the school a lot, principal prior to Mr. Byers coming on the scene and giving it a breath of fresh air. He has made Barbara's last 2 years of working in the education field a breath of fresh air, and so is the staff, because it's been a long time since she came home and talked about what everybody had to say and how much fun it was and how relaxing it is, and a tribute to all you folks at the school that made it the last 2 years prior to retirement very much fun. And also for myself to be able to walk into the school and have someone say, hey, how you doing? Without asking me what wasn't what I was doing. I want you to relax, because I don't think I'm saying anything here, and I'm not mentioning anything. Nobody in the world would know. But again, I'd just like to thank everybody again. It's nice to have my family here, and my sister-in-law, Joan, Barb's sister-in-law too. My mother would never miss an opportunity to have a glass of soda and a sandwich. Barb's good friend Linda came in from Toronto. And then, how do you put this? Like, David Simon sent this nice card, and David is just a great person and very humorous. And sitting back at that table back there, if you were to ever allow them out of that table, we'd be here all night, and I don't think anybody would be missed of being roasted. A great table of close friends that we spend a lot of time with. But I won't go on any farther. I've got a little something I want to give to Barbara. On my behalf for her retirement, and Barbara, it's been great. This is just something that somebody told me one time, that everything is worth something, and you're worth a lot to me.
I just want to say that I think this is one of the best days of my life, not just because I'm retiring, but because you're all here. Thank you very, very much for coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, maybe Barb will take the opportunity to open up a few more gifts now. And there are more treats to eat